exciting topic today
topic
at the Strive Nation podcast. Welcome, friends. I'm joined with my constant co-host, Taylor Huff, my fiance, the one and only, my pride and joy.
Oh.
Is there any more taglines that I can add to that?
The beautiful, magnificent.
Okay, now
intelligent.
You're taking it a little far, okay? You're taking it a little far. But today, we are talking about the election.
Yes.
I don't know what else to talk about.
I don't think anyone knows what to talk about besides that, to be honest.
Right. We're going to tackle it today.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously, this is the every other episode where we talk about something political.
Political, current events.
So we're going to tackle that today. But first, we have upvotes, downvotes.
Yes.
It's a pretty good week.
Very good week.
Mm-hmm. What is your upvote?
My upvote is that Cory finally got his Christmas/birthday present from 2019.
So that leaves it at, what is that, 10 months? 10 months? 10 months later.
I'm blaming COVID on this one.
I got it. This is something she likes to regularly do.
No, I've only done this once.
She likes to give me birthday and Christmas presents and then be like, you'll get it eventually, like an IOU. That's what she does.
I've only done that once, and it was the first year we were dating, and I was very poor.
And she did it now. So
no,
twice.
I didn't do it now. COVID wouldn't allow us to travel.
Oh, I see.
We would have traveled. There would have been nothing to do.
Okay.
So, COVID stole it, but I took it back. We went to Chattanooga for Cory's birthday/Christmas present, just in time for me to give him another one in 3 weeks.
Yes, my birthday's in 3 weeks. So bring it on, baby.
I already got it planned. It's perfect. He'll never guess it. But anyways, this present, we went to Chattanooga. We stayed in a beautiful bed and breakfast called the Mayor's Mansion. And it was the original Mayor's Mansion built back in the 1890s. So that was really exciting. It was really cool. Pretty sure the place was haunted. Didn't see a ghost. We went to, what is it called? Oh, Rock City Gardens, which is really pretty. I liked it. I liked watching Cory squirm because of the heights. That was fun.
Yeah, the whole thing was really great. I've been to Rock City multiple times with my mother. I didn't remember much because I was young, but going back to it really brought back some memories. The fairy tales of what's-her-face who lived there. She was really into fairy tales, like looking at all the, what do they call those little...
Sculptures?
Yeah, the little displays,
like the
right?
picture scenes?
Yeah, all the picture scenes of all the fairy tales. That was absolutely beautiful. That was so cool.
That was really awesome.
Yeah, I really, really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really enjoyed it.
It was nice and relaxing. We
got
got back the day before the election.
Yeah, the bed and breakfast was pretty awesome too. I've never been to them, so that was super relaxing. Had a jacuzzi.
Yes.
It was pretty nice.
So fancy.
It was really fancy. I like the atmosphere though. It's like a 100-year-old building playing old jazz and everything.
Yeah, at different
music,
times.
It was really, really cool. There's like little coffee stands that you could go at any time and get coffee and little snickerdoodles or whatever those were.
Cory just liked it because there's cookies everywhere for free.
Yeah, I would
24 hours.
Sneak out and get a couple cookies.
Did you sneak out in the middle of the night to get cookies?
I did not.
Oh.
But I did wake up multiple times in the night to a toilet that wouldn't turn off.
Oh. It's an old building. It has its charm.
Yeah, but it was great. Had a lot of food. It was never been to Chattanooga, I don't think, but it was very nice. Mm-hmm. Very nice fall kind of vacation.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, so that's her upvote.
That was my upvote. What's yours?
Well, my upvote was getting promoted.
Woohoo!
I got promoted technically, I guess it was 2 weeks ago, right after we recorded the last episode. But it's really, really nice because I've been working very hard for, a period of 9 to 10 months at this job. And I finally kind of fast-track pace to becoming a department manager of the store I work at. So it's really, really cool. Get bonuses, really cool stuff. So that is definitely my upvote. Now, the downvotes are interesting. Because my downvote actually, it kind of relates to Chattanooga, but we've been dealing with it the last...
Forever.
Well, y'all know that we really, really don't ascribe to like
our
millennials and our generation. Yeah, we're not that we're like old people, but we're old people.
Yes.
So Yeah, it's really irritating when you're going to places cool like Rock City and you have millennials everywhere going, this is dumb. This is so stupid. I don't like this. We came up all the way here for this. And like, this isn't the first time that we've run across this. It's like, does any of y'all notice how, like, if you're around millennials, they find things to complain about? It's the most irritating thing to me.
Constantly.
Well, it could be about anything. Like, oh, you have to walk up the stairs because the elevator's broken, and they'll complain about it. They'll complain about literally every possible thing you could think of. I'm like, do you people have any idea how lucky you are to live in America, where you can do these things? Sometimes the pessimism drives me a little nuts, but that is my downvote for sure.
Yeah, bunch of Debbie Downers.
Right. I can't relate to people my age. I just can't.
No.
That's my downvote. What is your downvote?
Mine is daylight savings.
Why?
Because I can't figure out what time it is, and it's driving me bananas. And I'm waking up super earlier than normally do, just fine. But then I'm falling asleep at like 8 o'clock every single night. Like, I fell asleep in the bed, and then I fell asleep on the couch. I cannot function.
So she's upset with something that's been around for literally ever because it has to be?
I don't know. We don't need daylight savings.
No, we do need
No, we don't.
Yes.
No, we don't.
Yes, we do.
Then why does Arizona not follow daylight savings?
They don't at all?
Nope. Boom. Roasted, toasted.
I have no idea, but there's a reason for it. Trust me.
I don't think we need it.
Okay. Well.
And then everything gets darker earlier. We did that on purpose.
Everything gets darker earlier anyways. It doesn't matter the time. It gets darker. That's the reason we changed the time.
No, but we fell back an hour, so we pushed it to get darker earlier, even more so.
I don't know. It's
I think
there
it's
for a
stupid.
reason. Okay.
I don't think we need it.
Okay, I'll let you have it.
Thank you.
Anyways.
Yes. Anyways.
Moving on.
Speaking of other things I don't like.
What, the election results?
Yeah.
It's okay, but it's not real election results though. It's kind of like the election results, sort of in parentheses, sort of. I don't know where to start with this one, honestly.
I don't know. So Biden says he's now the new president-elect.
Yes, he's proclaimed it. So has Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is the VP-elect too.
Oh God.
They've claimed their territory. They've metaphorically peed all over and claimed their territory. And Donald Trump is watching from afar, all whiny, and I get it, but
yeah.
He
took it well. He was golfing on Saturday.
Yeah, so I mean, it's one of these things where I'm at the point where the whole election thing, I'm pretty much done with it. I kind of just want it. I don't want to hear about it anymore. The whole polarization of both sides, you got so much double standards and so much hypocrisy. It's absolutely ridiculous. Mm-hmm. I don't even know what to think about it, because we stayed up on election night. We were watching the Louder with Crowder stream for like 6 hours or something. I went to bed at like midnight. She went to bed a little earlier.
I fell asleep earlier. It was looking good. It was looking in Trump's favor.
It was.
When
it was looking.
Went to bed.
Yeah, it was looking pretty good. I was thinking he had it, even with some of the mail-in vote swing. I guess I didn't predict that. Yeah. Especially now, I think, what was it, 9% compared to 2% mail-in votes in 2016. So
that's
more than 4 times the mail-in votes. But again, majority of them would have been from the Democratic side, because Republicans are going to go out and vote in person.
Yeah, well, both parties prescribed to that. The Democrats were pushing mail-in voting really hard, and then Republicans were pushing vote in person, watch your vote go through really hard. So you knew it was going to be split. You just didn't expect to go to sleep thinking one thing, and then I woke up and I was like, oh, the president! And I looked at my phone and I was like, oh, it's still not really called yet, but now there's a lot of blue.
Right, which, I mean, you had states calling it early. You know how the press and stuff will call it early, but like then
Fox News called Arizona
super freaking early. Yeah, they were coming back on things because they didn't know, and then you heard of some election fraud things that were debunked or weren't debunked. I don't really know what's going on, to be honest. There's so much stuff just rolling around.
That's a lot. And we'll talk about all the voter fraud and all that later.
Right,
we'll get into
crazy.
it. I think it's funny. Not funny. I think it's weird because it's not official yet that Biden and Kamala won. I don't want to say it's not a real thing.
Yeah, it's not a real thing.
No, it just doesn't feel like it yet because people are still tallying votes and all this. But Biden is having all these press conferences, and behind him it says President-elect Joe Biden. And they're already talking and like putting together coronavirus task force and talking about the ACA. I don't know. It feels really weird to me. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Trump did this when he was elected too. I just don't remember. But it just feels really weird. It feels like there's like two sets of presidents trying to govern right now, but one's actually governing and the other ones are just pretending to. I don't know. I think it's really weird.
Two old men fighting over the country, and so many people are partisan that Republicans are not going to accept Biden's victory.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, Trump's not going to accept defeat ever."
I think he will.
If the fraud wasn't so prevalent,
I think, but if all the litigation goes through and it comes out that yes, Biden did win.
Right.
Like honestly, yeah, I don't see a problem with Trump stepping down.
I mean, hopefully, but it'd be the same on the other side, though. Yeah. It's like, do you think that if Trump won, the liberals and leftists would be like fine with it? There's not a chance in hell.
Definitely not.
There's not a chance in hell. And if it was, you'd still get everyone rioting and burning buildings down in the streets,
Yeah.
Like, either way, that's the one thing I'm happy about is so far the rubble and destruction has been to a minimum.
No, it's just everyone just partying in the streets. COVID doesn't exist anymore. It's fine.
Yeah, everyone.
It drives me nuts.
Well, that's the irritating thing about both sides. You'll be like, oh, you guys are gathering in churches and not social distancing. Okay, but you're doing marches where no one's social distancing and only half the people are wearing masks. Mm-hmm. But no, the media doesn't call that out at all.
No.
So, like, it's both sides always catching each other doing stuff, when in reality, America as a culture just doesn't want to wear a mask. The people who want to wear masks, wear masks. The people who don't want to wear masks, don't wear masks. Yeah. And a lot of times, the people who want to wear masks are virtue signaling to the people who don't want to wear masks, telling them they're bad people, but then you catch them not wearing masks at certain times. It's like this huge thing.
That's what irritates me. Like the Trump rallies, people aren't wearing masks, and then people call it super spreader events, and people are dying because of it. Then Joe Biden wins, and y'all are partying in the street, dancing. I'm like, I don't see a lot of masks. Right. And we sure look really close, all hugging and kissing each other.
It's double standards all the way around. Everyone calling each other out.
It just irritates me.
Right. It's like, how can you call other people when you the next day are going out and not even listening?
And like
You're
doing the same
so
thing.
Hypocritical. I mean, double standard.
Double standards happen everywhere. It's just frustrating to watch it happen.
Right. I mean, and here's another thing. It's like, oh, Biden's creating his new coronavirus task force. People think like, oh, if Biden would have been in charge, you wouldn't have had as many deaths. Really? You think that because Biden was running everything that you wouldn't have as many deaths? No. America's going to function as America regardless.
Yeah.
People who don't want to wear masks, like I said, are not going to wear masks. Mm-hmm. Okay? We're a very open culture that feel like our rights get taken away if we're forced to do things.
Exactly.
That's why the Founding Fathers brought everything to a consistent line of, we give everyone the freedom to do whatever they want as long as they're not infringing on others' rights. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. And some people are like, we need to go back to lockdowns like other countries where people can't even, everyone's forced to wear masks and everyone has to live in their house and shouldn't leave, do what China does, weld their doors shut. You remember that when that was a thing?
Yeah.
That's why, I mean, the people who are vulnerable, stay home if you feel unsafe. Mm-hmm. And people that don't want to wear masks, feel free to risk it for the biscuit.
But don't get mad when someone doesn't let you into their business.
But don't get mad, right?
Because that's their rule.
Exactly. Like I always say in retail, like people not coming in and being furious that they have to wear a mask.
You can shop someplace else.
Take
your business somewhere else and show them.
Yeah, the power of the free market.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. But then it's like, you wouldn't go into someone's house and them tell you, please take off your shoes, and you go, nah, I don't think so. I'm going to keep my shoes on.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not going to do that. So,
no.
Yeah, stop being a dick and wear a mask. That's what I have to say about it.
Yes. There hasn't been violence lately.
No. A lot of protests from Republicans at voting centers and shit like that.
Yeah, but that's all been peaceful.
Yeah, I don't think it's been...
I haven't seen
anything. I guess that's the difference. You have over 70 million Republicans. Biden claims victory, and there's like little to zero violence.
Yeah.
0 riots. Yeah, protests, sure, but that's our right.
But protests are lawful.
Right, protests are lawful. I mean, it's great if you want to protest.
Yeah.
I personally don't like protesting as like a principle thing, but you're definitely within your right to protest.
Yeah.
Where you don't, it's not within your right, is to
Riot.
kill people, shoot people, and steal things.
No, not at all.
Yeah, so
2020 has been the year of riots.
yeah,
Just crazy.
yeah. We haven't talked about that yet.
No, which I think is what we kind of want to talk about today.
Well, a little bit. It goes along with election results a little bit. Hey,
Yeah.
leave me be.
I can make fun of you as much as I want.
Oh, jeez.
Yes, but yeah, we were going to talk about the riots because obviously there were protests here in Nashville that then turned into riots. And like we said, we live in front of the courthouse, so it all happened right in front of our apartment building. Luckily, we were not home. Cory was driving back from Wisconsin to come back from his COVID
Relief.
my
My COVID personal leave relief.
his COVID vacation.
Right.
And I was already back here in Tennessee. I almost said Wisconsin.
Oh,
I was
geez.
already back here in Tennessee. I've been back here for 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
3 weeks
3
you were back
weeks.
here, yep.
Yeah. So I was at work. I had been following the news, looking at good old Twitter to see, because I knew there was protests. I just wanted to see what was going on, because I obviously saw what was happening in Minnesota and all of that. Basically, was watching a live YouTube stream while I was at work, and I'm like, oh, that's nifty. They're going down Broadway and like burning garbage cans. Oh, they're turning down 2nd Ave. Oh, they're like right in front of my apartment. That's super cool. Which is obviously not cool. That was
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah, and I was like I said, I was driving home, and after George Floyd, was kneeled on, and then he subsequently died. Everyone was like, police brutality. Let's run around and riot and protest. Obviously, the media was claiming the protests were mostly peaceful. I mean, at what point do you say mostly peaceful turns into mostly turning into riots?
Yeah.
Because
where is the line?
right, where's the line when you have how many millions of dollars, billions of dollars in property damage, 30 officers, what is it, wounded or killed? I forget. It was something crazy like that.
Wounded.
Yeah.
In Minneapolis.
How many people dying, the vandalism, like at what point do you say, okay, this isn't peaceful anymore. This is every single one of these is turning to riots, even in places that small towns like turning into riots.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But I was driving back and I had to watch the entire thing on my cell phone from my car. Like literally, imagine driving to your home and not being completely helpless to defend the place that you sleep. It's
and
like
you were 5 hours away. Like it's a very
Right.
helpless feeling.
well, I had to watch for hours and hours on end. I mean, even if I turn it off, I know it's happening. Mm-hmm. I'm watching it on the thing. They're literally these people. I can see my apartment building from the video that people were live streaming on YouTube of people throwing Molotov cocktails into the public courthouse building across from our apartment.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can do. It's like
No.
watching people destroy the place you love.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do anything about it. I just wanted to cry, I didn't even feel like coming back. I wanted to leave. I wanted to move away.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't want to come home.
Oh.
Like, who wants to come home to something like that?
I mean, I definitely didn't want to come home to it.
Yeah,
Well,
I
we
mean-
obviously didn't stay here that night.
Right, we had to stay at her friend's house. And all I remember is as soon as I got there, she comes out, she starts crying, and I start crying. Like, it was like super emotional. How often do you get to go home and watch people lighting a car on fire in front of your building?
Yeah.
And
the
jumping
building-
on top of it and getting dispersed with tear gas. How often does that happen? It
Yeah.
doesn't. It doesn't happen, and
No.
it shouldn't happen, and people don't deserve to go through that. And the people who are inflaming that type of,
Behavior,
yeah,
like condoning it.
condoning it
Saying,
and
like-
participating in it, because apparently that those riots that started on the day after the George Floyd thing happened, most of those were instigated by Antifa
Yeah.
actors, paid actors that were hired to go into cities, ignite some violence, and then other participators, BLM participators, would join in.
Yeah. Well, and then you have people just like anarchists who just want to drive somewhere and just have fun and light shit on fire.
Well, right. And like what is going so wrong in your life that you feel that you have to go
And light someone's house on fire.
Well, right. You're completely causing chaos to this person for no reason at all, only because you have some horrible thing in your life that's making you nihilistic. That is what it is. Like, what is wrong with you? It drives me absolutely insane thinking about it.
Yeah.
We woke up the next day and decided to come and see the damage.
Well, because we had to come home.
Well, right. We had to come home.
At some point.
Yeah. I mean, at some point, you have to come home.
Yeah.
At least, and hope that your stuff is still there.
Graffiti.
A lot of graffiti.
Vandalism.
A lot of vandalism.
Which sucks, because it's a historic building that they had just finished, like, refurbishing the outside.
Right.
And doing all of this work to, like, keep up with the historicalness of it, and then it all got ruined again. And I'm like, that's thousands and thousands of dollars that people poured into making this historical building stay nice and stay true to its history, and they got to go do it all over again because people wanted to be stupid and, like, spray paint and stuff.
Well, right. These narratives, these things that are, these sayings and slogans are absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
Like ACAB. All cops are bastards.
Yeah.
All cops, are they all bastards? No.
No, absolutely not.
99.9% of cops are not bastards. They're here to protect you and keep you safe. Mm-hmm. They are here to serve you. And
that's a job that they willingly choose to every day.
They willingly choose, yeah, right. Not to mention how brave people are that go into that occupation. Mm-hmm. You're going to slander them for something you technically don't know all the details about.
Yeah.
It's like the George Floyd thing. Everyone immediately jumps to this narrative that the media pushes.
Yeah.
Of it was a racist act, which it could have been. It definitely could have been. And that guy apparently had a lot of racist acts previously.
Was it racist?
It was like
he had just different misconducts against him.
Police brutality, but it kind of depends because he had like things in his apartment, I guess, that were racist. Is the Asian guy next to him that allowed him to do it racist? What about the Mexican cop that was right next to him? Is he racist too? Is all of them racist? So all cops are racist. That's the narrative that we're going to use. Apparently. But it turns out George Floyd, for anyone that actually knows what happened, he had 3 times the legal dose of fentanyl in him? 3 or 4 lethal dose of fentanyl. He would have died anyways that same day.
I mean, we're not saying that's excusing.
It's not excusing. Like
who was kneeling on him.
Yeah,
he should not have been doing that.
That was 100% improper use of force on someone's neck. You don't kneel on someone's neck like that.
Should be fired for it and charged for it, which we're not condoning his behavior whatsoever.
Right, but here's the thing that drives me nuts.
It's just people don't have all the facts.
People don't have the facts, but now you have all the BLM movement, okay, the Black Lives Matter movement, creating posters and statues of this guy who literally broke into a woman's house, held her at gunpoint, and shoved a gun into her stomach when she was pregnant, while people raided and looted her house. And we're celebrating this guy as a hero,
memorializing him.
We're memorializing this gentleman. Well, I can't even say gentleman. This person. For what? Just for being black, basically. That is it. Mm-hmm. It's just because of, rather than his character. Yeah. Right? We're memorializing people based off their skin now and not their character. Why does the skin color matter?
It shouldn't.
It shouldn't matter at all. Whatever happened to memorializing people that actually do things for the black community, or let alone, how about just the American community, like Abraham Lincoln? But they were tearing down his statue. They were burning down statues of people who actually made marks in history. Yeah. Towards actual good movements, like Martin Luther King. Whatever happened to that? Defacing all those statues, tearing down things. That means the movement isn't even about what they said it was. Yeah. It's not outlying events that were happening. It was mainstream. It was everywhere. People defacing statues. They were tearing down businesses, burning businesses down, burning black businesses down, even when their sign said Black Lives Matter. And they were looting from everywhere. Yeah. Having a reason to loot, period.
Well, and that's not doing any good. Like, you preach about... You're preaching about Black Lives Matter, which they do. But then you're burning down black businesses. So how are you helping that black life? Oh, well, we burned down a Target, blah, blah, blah. They're corporate. They're fine. Okay, well, what about, the black girl that works there after school to pay for her car? Or, the mom who works there whatever her ethnicity is, to pay for her kids' bills. Like, people just assume just because a Target or a Starbucks, like, fuck them, they can afford it.
Well, it's not. That's even beside the point.
You're not thinking about the lives that it's affecting.
Well, it's not even about what if there was no black people that work there. That's beside the point, right?
I know. I'm saying all the people, like, all those lives that you're impacting.
Right. That's not the point. The point is it's wrong. And just because something bad happens, it's horrible. People let the justice system take care of it. Mm-hmm. You don't. You completely use it as an excuse to play victimhood and steal other people's shit.
Or
how
protest peacefully.
Well,
That's so much
whatever
more
happened
impactful.
to protest. Right. I mean, and there were instances of peaceful protests across the country, and those protests are fantastic.
Yeah.
But more than half of them turned into riots at the time? Like, really?
Yeah. There was one here in Nashville that stayed completely peaceful. And it was organized by, like, 6 different high school girls that didn't know each other before this and came together, and they organized it. They had, like, 10,000 people show up, and it was entirely peaceful. That makes so much more of an impact than you going and burning the courthouse on fire, or looting 2nd Ave, or trashing, like, Broadway so these bars can't open up.
I mean, yeah, the next day we were going to go to Arrington Vineyards, but until then we took a walk and checked out all the damage.
It is terrible. There's so much.
Right. Like, the courthouse was so vandalized. Everything was so glass everywhere, spray paint everywhere. Businesses looted and stolen from.
There was also a person in there when they were lighting it on fire.
Right. They're like, oh shit, there's someone in there. Did you know you're about to kill someone? Did you know that? Or no, you didn't think about that. You just decided to light it for what reason? Let's burn the courthouse, because it's the courthouse's fault that some random guy in Minneapolis, by the way, the precinct in Minneapolis, the one they're talking about, had previous instances of police brutality. Not necessarily racism, police brutality. So somehow that's indicative of the whole. Mm-hmm. So, of course, the public courthouse in Nashville, obviously it's their fault.
Yes, the building's fault.
But anyways, it's like, what, do you think about this stuff, or no, you're just gonna, okay, that's fine, I'll wait. I'll watch all of my shit get destroyed.
Yeah. Well, and all the businesses, like, okay, they're just shut down for months because of COVID. At this point, they had just started reopening. Like, I think the bars had only been open for, like, a week or 2 weeks. At that point, they're able to stay open till, like, 10 p.m. or something.
Yeah, and then
all of a sudden, they all got destroyed and looted, and then they had to shut down again. So I'm like, okay, now you have all these bartenders, all these servers, all these musicians back on unemployment because they tried to go back to work, and then it got burnt down.
Yeah, as if we didn't have enough to deal with this year.
Yeah, I'm like, people already have enough hardship, and then you purposely go and ruin their job and their livelihood. Like, who are you impacting positively with that? No one. We just get very heated about it.
Right.
I don't understand the logic of it. I really don't. Like, someone please explain to me the logic of it.
There isn't logic. It's like, oh, let's get passionate about it, and then let's turn it up 10 notches. Let's defund the entire police. Get rid of all the police, and instead, let's build a community-based what was it? The community-based policing system.
Yeah. Well, it didn't have the word policing in there.
Right. There wasn't the word policing. But what is the police? That's what the police is.
Yeah. Also, like, people are like, well, you can send social workers out here, blah, blah. I'm like, are you going to send a social worker out to a homeless person with a needle? That social worker is not going to feel safe, and that social worker is not going to go out there by themselves. That's what the police are for.
And then you've
had... Or domestic violence. You're going to send a social worker out there who's going to have to stand up to this giant 6-foot-tall dude? Okay, I don't think that tiny social worker is going to feel safe doing that. They're not going to go do it.
Yeah, none of the people know, no one knows the backstories of why these things are happening, why these black individuals are getting shot, and no one even knows the statistics around it. Mm-hmm. It's like, all people see is, 9 black men killed this year. Okay, yes, 9 black men killed this year. Or was it black men or individuals? I don't know.
Black individuals in 2019.
In 2000, by police. Okay, did you know that?
19?
Double that? I think it was 19 white
19 white people were
killed by police
in 2019.
Even though black Americans commit, what is the percentage of crime? It's like 55% of the crime, 53% of the crime.
Yeah, it's 50-something.
When they're only 12% of the population. So, yes, they interact with police more, yet somehow white people are still killed more. But then there's this narrative that police are walking down the street, whipping out their guns, and shooting black people.
Like, that's not real.
That's not real. It's not happening. Mm-hmm. You have seconds to decide whether your life is in danger or not as a police officer.
Yeah.
If you see them reaching into their vehicle to grab something, you can either say, no, I'm not going to react, or I'm going to react and save my life.
Exactly.
You choose. That could be a gun they're taking out.
Well, that's also you reacting and saving other people's lives.
Right, because they
the
could've...
witnesses around, the other cops around.
Right.
It's you saving multiple lives or one life. And that sounds terrible, but...
Dude, there are countless videos online that you can watch of police footage of them not reacting right on because they didn't want to shoot, and someone taking out a gun and shooting an innocent hostage. Or taking out... There's one video that I found truly perturbing.
Oh, I couldn't even watch
a black
it.
individual stabbing another police officer in the chest 7 times, even after being shot. Even after being shot.
And tased.
Yes, it's horrible when it's unjustified and it happens, but it is not indicative of the whole.
No.
That's the thing.
These are outliers that people just use to label everything.
If anything, some of these police officers need better or more consistent training. Mm-hmm. That's something I think we all can agree on is more consistent training.
Yeah. Well, that's what what's his name? Jocko
Willink?
Yeah, he says that he wishes police officers had 20% of their time was in regards of training, which is crazy to think about because the military, all they do is train constantly.
Right.
That's all they're doing. Like half of their job is training. He's a really cool dude. I like what he says. He's very, very, very inspirational.
It's always the military dudes that are really cool.
I know him.
It's because of the discipline.
Dan Crenshaw.
Yeah. It's because
Wesley
of the discipline.
Hunt.
Yeah.
They're all really cool.
Cool dudes. Discipline.
Cool dudes. Hear that, Dad? You're a cool dude.
Oh. Shout out Taylor's father. My father-in-law.
I think you're part of the family at this point.
Right.
Anyways, instead of saying defund the police, how about you invest more money into the police or fix these things that we think we need to get better at? So give them more money to go train or give them the proper resources. Let them have training sessions with social workers to see how to interact with different situations. You want them to get better at de-escalating situations.
The situation.
So give them more opportunities to train and more opportunities to do that and give them more funding to do so. But defunding the police, like that does no good for anyone.
Yeah.
And black communities want police there.
Yeah.
That is how you make those communities better, is by always having those police present and also those police officers walking the same beat, getting to know that community. That's what helps build those communities up.
Right. There's a huge disjoint between what BLM, the leaders and the runners and the real proponents of BLM.
Like the organization.
There's a huge disjoint between
Not
them
the
and people
statement.
just supporting the black community.
Yeah.
Because you have BLM saying, let's defund, or even, completely abolish the police. Mm-hmm. Completely abolish the police in a lot of, they've been stated multiple times that this was the goal. When, in a Gallup poll from, I think it was a month and a half ago, it turns out that 83% of black Americans want the same or more police in their cities, in their areas. Mm-hmm. Okay, so what is the actual narrative that we're running with? That's the question. It doesn't make any sense to me, especially when, for some reason, we're worried about the 9 black individuals who died this year. Okay, which it's horrible that they did.
You mean last year?
What is it? Last
2019
year?
is what
2019.
the statistics
Okay.
from.
So, well, right, this year it's probably way more because obviously the heightened level of violence
also
everywhere.
Look at those cases. The Kenosha case.
Yeah, Kenosha case. Like
he's told multiple times to put the knife down.
Jacob Blake, you mean?
Yeah.
Yep.
To stop what he was doing. He's the one who reached into his car. The one place, or the...
They even had him subdued. They were already restraining him physically. Mm-hmm. He escaped them physically, walked around the front of the vehicle despite all the police telling him to stop.
Yeah.
Decided to open the door and go for something under his seat and about ready to pull it out. At that point, you decided not to listen to them for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Then you completely continue not to listen to them, walk around the front of your vehicle. You had multiple times to listen to the police.
That you didn't give them any other option.
Right. In what world, if you get pulled over, for example, if you're a person if you're just a person and you didn't do anything wrong, if you didn't just pull over and listen to the police, in what world is there something bad going to happen to you?
None.
Zero.
Yeah.
So why aren't you listening to police? Why aren't you letting them do their job?
Yeah. What also irks me too is when people talk about how, oh, I have to teach my kid my black son how to approach the police because he could get shot and blah, 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 blah. I don't know about you, but it was a very common thing in like driver's ed or for my parents to teach me, when you get pulled over, you keep your hands on the wheel. You do not make sudden movements. When they approach your vehicle and they ask for your license, you ask, can I reach into my purse? Can I reach into my glove compartment?
Right.
Oh, I have to teach my kid this and you'll never know what it feels like. I'm like, no, you're all taught how to respect the police and to, hey, maybe not do something that looks kind of sketchy,
Right.
so that they're not put on edge.
Yeah.
If I sit there in my car and have my hands on the wheel the entire time and they walk up and they say, hey, license registration, I say, it's in my purse. Can I grab it? Okay, they're not going to think anything of it. If I'm bent over and rifling through everything as walk up to the door, like they're going to be suspicious of me and on edge. I think it's called common sense.
If you're a parent and you're teaching your children to be scared of the police who are meant to protect you, that's extremely divisive. Mm-hmm. When you have, it's something, is it a 3 million police interaction, something like that? Yeah.
600,000 active police in the U.S. today.
Okay, so it's way more.
So
No. It was 60 million. It was 60 million. Right, so
go.
it was 60 million police interactions, okay?
Yeah.
And in 2019, 9 of those resulted in the deaths of black individuals. Mm-hmm. 9 of 60 million, and you're teaching your children to be scared and fear the police. And and anything that you do is a result of systemic racism. That's what we're going with.
Apparently.
That's what we're going with.
Yeah, when something's wrong, all of a sudden, then you call the police.
You call the police. It's
hypocritical.
And that's how all of these situations resulted. It was because these women are scared of these guys going to their places when they shouldn't be. Because, it turns out Jacob Blake's a racist. Or not a racist, a rapist.
Yeah.
And he sexually assaulted minors. So you're worried about this guy coming into your house, but as soon as he gets there, now it's the police's problem when you called them to come save you. Mm-hmm. Wow. That's all I can say is wow.
Yeah. I feel bad. That's a hard job to have right now.
Yeah, it's horrible. That's why, for how many weeks after that happened originally, I would just walk past the police and say, thank you for your service. Thank you for your service.
They just put up with so much.
Because despite how they're treated, they still come out for you.
Yeah. They still go to work every day.
They still go to work every day. They still protect you. They're still doing it because they feel like they have a moral duty to protect you for the good of America.
Yeah. I'm interested to see in what it looks like in the next coming years to see what the decrease of people going into the police forces.
Right.
People aren't going to want to be cops if they think that the government doesn't have their back, or people aren't going to have their back and just going to let them.
Well, it's like,
went over my head.
It's like, well, what about, so the system is systemically racist, right? So what about all of the black police Americans? What about all of the Mexican Americans? Mm-hmm. What about that? They're all racist too. Are they racist against each other, or is it still just white people? If it's systemically racist, then the people who are also in the system, such as black Americans, Mexican, Asian Americans, they're all racist too, or is it just the white people? We got to get our narrative straight.
Yeah. We get very heated about this topic. We also haven't talked about it in a hot second.
Well, we haven't, and it seems to pop up every 3 weeks of a new city burning for some reason. Mm-hmm. It's like the people who get torn, like truck drivers getting torn out of their semis and getting beat to death because it's their problem.
That they're driving on the interstate.
It's so much. The point is, there's so much unnecessary violence, killing, shooting, stealing, for a narrative that technically shouldn't exist by the statistics. But the people who watch the media and get indoctrinated, they will continue to push this, right? Mm-hmm. As I have always said, I support black Americans.
Oh, 100%.
I don't, and here's the thing, I don't call it African Americans anymore because it's not African American, you're American. You're black American. I support the black American communities. I don't support the Black Lives Matter movement.
No.
And it infuriates me when people, they don't know the stats behind it, but they'll just dive right into the BLM. Mm-hmm. They'll dive right in not knowing anything.
Well, and people also don't know what the BLM mission statement is.
Yeah, to go read their website. Go see what's on there. See what you're supporting.
Not good.
Well, it's right in their mission statement. They want to
abolish police.
Defund, abolish police, and not just that, completely disintegrate the family center and
the family unit.
The family unit. They want to take fathers out of the home. Why would you want to do that? When that is your biggest problem as a black community. 74% single motherhood rate in the black community. Mm-hmm. But definitely, let's destroy families. That's what the mission should be. It's
irritating, especially because a lot of people don't take the time to look into the movement. So people think like, oh, BLM, like I'm supporting a good cause. They don't take the time to look at and see what they're actually
and here's the thing.
supporting.
The way social media is, because really, really progressive leftist ideologies are completely controlling the media, entertainment, big tech, all of it. It controls all of it. And it's not slightly control, very control. Mm-hmm. Complete indoctrination of these conglomerates, right? So people are worried that what happens if I don't support this that's supposedly supposed to be good?
Yeah.
Then I'm going to get destroyed. I'm going to completely get canceled. I'm going to completely get called out, get publicly shamed for not supporting this, even though I think, something's not right about this.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, that happened with a podcast that I listened to. They have always been really strict. They do not talk about politics. They do not talk about it, do not talk about it, do not talk about it. And so originally when all of the BLM, like the George Floyd stuff was happening, they didn't say anything about it because the girls in the podcast had all agreed we will never discuss politics. That's not part of like our base. That's not what we stand for. Well, then they all got canceled because they didn't talk about politics. And now it's all they talk about. And now all of their Facebook, like they apologized for not being woke and not talking about it. And now they talk about it all the time. And it's really hard for me to listen to it. I'm like, you're entitled to your own beliefs, yes. But I really enjoyed when y'all didn't talk about it because you just gave into the mob, basically.
Right. It's the same thing the businesses are all doing. Really? Oh, you're going to get rid of Aunt Jemima. You're going to get rid of Land O'Lakes. You're going to get rid of the Washington Redskins. Because all of it now is racist.
Uncle Ben.
Uncle Ben? Really?
How is Uncle Ben racist?
How is Uncle Ben racist? Exactly. It's like these businesses are completely bowing to the mob. You know, whatever happened to standing for what you believe in?
Well, the Goya CEO did. He said, yeah, Trump.
Right.
Then but people it's just what's going to
end up happening is you're going to have businesses that are completely partisan. You're going to have all these real popping up conservative businesses that are standing up for what they believe in, and then you're the same thing with liberals, standing up for what they believe in on the other side. People are going to align with certain businesses, certain products, certain services.
Well, I'm going to say you're going to start picking product based on their political views, not based on the product itself.
Whether it's good or not, right?
Whether you actually like the product and be like, oh man, I really like their stuff, but this one is for what I believe in, so I'm just going to go with them instead. Like, it's just really weird.
Yeah, it's frustrating. We're just waiting to see what the rest of the year brings because this election's not over, guys. It's not over. It's not even close, despite Biden claiming that he won. It's not done yet.
And the media.
Claiming this thing is done. The one thing that I will say, though, apparently 70 million Republicans. City's not burning right now, mind you. Protest, sure. City's not burning. Everyone blames Trump's racism on what's happening now, the divisiveness.
Yeah.
But why is it all of the Republicans not running around burning everything?
No.
But saying there will be more violence if Trump is elected. So your base is the ones running around and committing all the violence. Don't you see a problem with that?
It's a huge problem. Don't look at it.
Well, you're holding the American public hostage.
Or I love when people say, oh, if Trump's elected, like, things are going to happen. And I'm like, you're saying that about your own people.
Right. You're the ones doing it.
How do you not see that?
Right. If Trump's elected, I'm going to go out and destroy more stuff. Okay. So, but it's Trump's fault, apparently.
But Trump's racist.
Right. And Trump supporters are horrible. But you're the one running out and burning everything down.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
Especially when you look at Trump's record, too, for everything he's done.
Right.
It's just so irritating.
Historical levels of money given to black colleges. Mm-hmm. Like, not even close. Trump has easily done more for the black community than any other president in history, besides Abraham Lincoln. Black unemployment being an all-time low before COVID. Now that the Biden supporters are claiming victory, that things aren't burning. That's all I'm glad for. And that's sad to think about. Like, hey, my guy didn't win, so now I can be glad that my home's not going to burn down.
Yeah.
But back to election stuff.
I know. Yeah. Election fraud.
Biden isn't elected yet. That's not how this works, okay?
No.
So the press announces yes, but they actually have to elect him in December. Mm-hmm. Like, the actual election committee has to push it through in December.
Yes.
Okay? Yes, it looks like he's going to win, and that's perfectly fine if he does.
That's fine.
The problem is that there's a lot of irregularities, quote unquote, in this election, as far as fraud, computers malfunctioning,
dead people voting,
and I understand that dead people have voted in every election. I get that.
Like, we understand this happens in every election,
but not on this scale.
But not on this scale. And my thing is, people say, "Oh, well, election fraud, all these irregularities always happen. Why does it make a difference now?" Why shouldn't it make a difference in any election? We should have been looking into this the past how many elections? So people are now in a fit that we're looking into it now. That's a good thing. If Biden won fair and square, then that's a good thing. We can get rid of the election fraud. If he didn't win fair and square, okay, that's a good thing. We know what the true result is.
Right, exactly. The frustrating thing is people, like, if you found out there was election fraud against Biden, would you be upset? Yes. And then if it was for Trump, they said no. So you're upset when your guy doesn't win, but you're not upset if it was against the guy you don't like? It's either you have to remain consistent. Either you support the system and you want it to be fair, or you don't.
Exactly. Well, 4 years ago, Russian collusion.
Right.
And then that went on forever and forever, and there's no evidence of it. Or not enough evidence of it.
Well, we spent all this money for...
Millions of dollars. Millions of dollars.
What, $35 million was it?
Yeah. But now, 4 years later, just because it's swinging in your favor, now you don't want to look into it. You don't want to investigate it.
Right. Republicans didn't agree on the Russian collusion because they all knew it wasn't true. It turns out that, even if you found out that Russian colluded, you didn't find out that Trump colluded because Trump didn't collude.
No.
You know, so, like, even if you found out that Russian colluded, what's the point? The point is you can be mad at Russia now? I'm not really sure. You spend $35 million to figure that out?
Russia doesn't need Trump to be president.
Right, and neither does...
Russia interferes and China interferes with these elections to make people believe that democracy doesn't work and that the election cycle and all that doesn't work. They're here to disenfranchise the election system. They're not here because they really want Trump to be president so they can be buddy-buddy. Like, has nothing to do with it. They don't care who wins.
Right, and you really think China wants Trump to be president?
No.
No.
Especially after everything he's done to them the past 4 years.
That's why it was so funny on election night. You could see as soon as Trump was up so heavily in the beginning, Chinese stocks just started to nosedive. Did you see that?
No, I didn't see that.
Oh, yeah. They started nosedive like crazy. And then overnight,
all the
as Biden started to come back, these stocks started to raise again. Yeah. There's so much misinformation right now. I understand conservatives being upset and throwing everything out there, but it's no good creating conspiracies that aren't true.
Yeah, there's been a lot of random conspiracies. Like, there's the
Sharpie Gate.
The Sharpie Gate. Those votes did get counted. They just got counted at the end. There's a video of a bag of ballots being burned. They were not real ballots.
Yeah, they weren't even filled out. They were just empty ballots, right?
Yeah, that was not real.
Right. There's a lot of stuff like that. The mass dead people voting.
Yeah, that's a huge issue.
Like, what, 6,000 people that were over the age of 120?
120
Yeah,
voting.
Somehow they all went through.
They all voted.
It turns out 37 counties in Michigan all had faulty computer systems that resulted in swing of Biden votes.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about the random mistype of, a zero in the system to swing 130,000 votes. Like, this stuff shouldn't be happening like that. You have to... Okay, I understand things are going to happen, but...
Not to this scale.
Well, and here's another thing. In something this close, that's crucial to find the truth. It's crucial. I mean, people who want Biden can say, no, it's not, obviously. But if you care about the system... You should want him to win fairly, You should want him to win fairly, correct?
Yeah. That's even better on you. Like, yeah, our guy won, and he won fairly. Like, you should want that. It's just all crazy to me. And then everything that's happening in Pennsylvania... Pennsylvania law says that you have to have the poll watchers can be within 6 feet of watching the people who are doing the absentee ballots. It's in Pennsylvania law. They're violating that. They were having them stand 15, 20 feet away. So it went up to SCOTUS. SCOTUS said, no, that is your law. You have to let them be within 6 feet. So they move the poll watchers 6 feet closer, and then they move the mail-in ballots 10 feet back again.
Right.
You're not following your own state's laws.
Well,
That's not. You can't do that.
Right, and there's the like shady shit like why are you covering up windows so no one can watch you count votes?
If you're not hiding anything, you should have no problem with people watching the election process.
Right, that doesn't make any sense to me. Not to mention, like, I mean, yeah, people were carrying in suitcases of things. I don't know what those were. If there was just food, idea. You don't really know. They were just saying it was camera equipment. You don't really know. That's the point. Mm-hmm. Like, these people were not checked in when they walked in there. They were not. There's videos of people just walking in there without any security check. Nothing.
There's not even a COVID check.
There wasn't even a COVID check, yeah, on half these places.
No.
That's crazy.
It's just wild.
Yeah, it's crazy. Not to mention the post offices and the postmasters backdating all of the mail-in votes because they were late putting November 3rd when it was actually November 4th so the votes could go through. Mm-hmm. And everyone knows that, 80 to 90%, probably 90% of all mail-in votes are going to be Democratic votes?
Yeah.
Well, okay, how is that fair? It's not fair.
It's not. And
right?
There's sworn affidavits for all of this,
right,
too.
Exactly.
Like, this isn't just being made up. Like, there was conspiracies that were proven false, correct. But the ones we're talking about now, there's sworn affidavits for these. Thousands of affidavits saying, my boss, the postmaster, told me to backdate all of this. Or I was told if the witness didn't put their address on the bomb to fill it in for them, whatever the case may have been. It's not someone just on Twitter just saying or Facebook saying whatever they want.
Right.
Like, they're real legal proceedings. And you have to let these go through. And Trump is in his own right to sue and to demand recounts and to have all of this go through correctly.
Well, especially because if Wisconsin and Arizona flips back, then Biden loses. And it was only, a margin of 10,000 to 30,000 votes in each of those? Mm-hmm. When we found out that 37 counties in Michigan all had malfunctions of 3,000 votes or more swinging to Biden when they weren't supposed to.
Yeah.
This stuff has to be looked into. It's like Reagan when he won 523 to 15. Mm-hmm. It's not something
a blowout.
like that. It's not a blowout. It's not even close. It's literally on a margin of half of a half percent in votes. Mm-hmm. Granted, the popular vote went, depending on how the vote swings, it's going to get super close.
College, yeah.
Right. You have people on both sides super happy or losing their minds. Whatever happens in these elections, your rights aren't going to get taken away. That's why there's checks and balances in the system.
Yeah.
I remember back in 2016, this is when I first started to get into politics. I posted something on my Facebook which enraged many of my millennial friends because, as you know, millennials are overwhelmingly liberal, and most of my Facebook friends, obviously from college. So they had, I think we talked about this in episode 1 too. Mm-hmm. They all deleted me because I told everyone to calm down and think rationally about the situation. People were telling me that they were going to jump off a bridge because Donald Trump got,
or that Trump was going to take away all the rights as a woman, so they're going to move and live in Canada.
Right. Same thing with all the kids in cages and everyone's going to be in concentration camps. There is no rationality to those statements.
No.
None. Because none of that is going to happen. All I urge people to do was just to remain calm and understand that
the president is only one person.
The president's only one person.
He's not a dictator.
Right.
Especially
in America, he's not a dictator.
Yeah. And there's so many checks and balances here. That is the one thing the Founding Fathers did incredibly well. There's so many checks and balances that the president can't just do whatever the hell he wants. Gotta go through Congress. Gotta go through the Senate. There's so many other things. There's the Supreme Court. No matter which side ends up winning this at the end,
right,
it's not going to affect your life as tragically as you think it's going to.
No, what's going to happen is someone's going to get elected and you're going to live the next 4 years of your life pretty much exactly the way you had the previous 4 years of your life.
Yeah.
That is what happens.
You might pay a little more in taxes. You might pay a little less.
Correct.
Really none of a difference.
So, and here's another thing. Why worry about something that hasn't come to pass? Worry about it when it comes to pass.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what's going to happen. You have no idea. If Biden is eventually proclaimed in December, fantastic. Then he's my president. And I still respect the office. I still respect the presidency.
Yeah.
And he is my president for 4 years, even though I'm conservative. That does not matter to me. I will not judge him by his character. I will judge him by what he does in office.
By his policies.
Correct.
Which is how you should do it.
Hopefully, you guys enjoyed this episode. I know it was a little tense, a little hot, a little sticky under the collar. Every other episode is going to be a political episode like this. We have a very diverse audience that, like, some people want us to talk about Bachelor, some people want to talk about politics, some people just want me to make funny voices they all can laugh to. But we have a little bit of everything for everyone. We would love you all to comment and interact with our Facebook, our Twitter, our Instagram. Let us know what you think. Remember, bi-weekly episodes.
Also, check out our affiliate link for Instacart. It's great. You can order your groceries for delivery through their app. They're really nice. They will text you if they're out of your product and offer suggestions. They will also not give you shitty produce, which other people do. I'm not going to say names. But yeah, definitely check that out, especially with COVID. Thanks so much for listening. Follow us on all socials at Strive Nation Pod. And don't forget to like and subscribe.
Feel free to show your support and check out our Patreon. And remember, when the world is upside down, Strive Nation's right side up. Have a good one, guys.
Bye.